What it feels like to be the anxious one in love. Being the anxious one in love feels like your heart is always slightly ahead of reality, racing toward a future that hasn't fully formed yet, while your mind struggles to catch up and calm the storm of possibilities that may never even happen. It feels like reading between the lines of every message, analyzing the tone, the timing, the punctuation, wondering if a simple delay means something deeper, something heavier, something you should be preparing yourself for emotionally. You tell yourself to relax, to trust, to breathe, but your body doesn't listen because anxiety in love isn't just a thought. It's a full body experience that lives in your chest, tightens your stomach, and whispers doubts you wish you could silence. When they pull away, even slightly, even unintentionally, it doesn't feel small to you. It feels like a shift in the entire foundation, like something important is slipping, and you're the only one who notices it happening. You don't just miss them when they're gone. You feel their absence as a kind of emotional withdrawal, like something essential to your sense of calm and stability has been temporarily taken away. And so you reach out, sometimes subtly, sometimes directly, not because you want to be overwhelming, but because connection feels like oxygen and distance feels like suffocation. But the hardest part is that you're aware of this pattern, you see yourself doing it, you recognize the urge to seek reassurance, to ask for clarity, to close the emotional gap, and yet the feeling still overpowers your logic. You might replay conversations in your head long after they've ended, wondering if you said too much, too little, or something that might push them away without you even realizing it in the moment. There's a constant balancing act inside you between wanting to express your needs honestly and fearing that doing so might make you seem too much, too emotional, too difficult to love. So sometimes you hold back, even when you're hurting, even when you need comfort, because you don't want to risk being seen as needy, even though all you really want is to feel secure. Love for you is not just about affection. It's about reassurance, consistency, and emotional presence. Because without those things, your mind starts filling in the gaps with worst-case scenarios. And those scenarios feel real. They don't feel like imagination. They feel like warnings, like your intuition trying to protect you, even when it's actually amplifying your fear. When things are good, they feel incredibly good, almost euphoric, because your nervous system finally gets a break. And for a moment, everything feels safe, grounded, and certain. But that peace can be fragile because it often depends on external signals, on how they show up, how they respond, how they reassure you without even realizing that they are doing it. You may find yourself becoming highly attuned to their moods, their energy shifts, their subtle changes in behavior, almost like you're constantly scanning for signs that something might be wrong. This hyper-awareness makes you deeply empathetic, deeply caring, but it also makes you vulnerable to emotional exhaustion because you're always processing more than what is actually being said. You don't love lightly, you love deeply, intensely, with a kind of emotional investment that makes you willing to fight for the connection even when it feels uncertain or unstable. But that depth can sometimes turn into overthinking, where your love becomes entangled with fear, and your desire for closeness becomes mixed with the fear of losing it. You might feel like you're always one step away from being too much or not enough, constantly adjusting yourself to maintain the connection, even when it costs you your peace. And yet, despite all of this, you keep loving. Because when you feel connected, when you feel chosen, when you feel secure, there is nothing more fulfilling, more meaningful, more alive than that experience. The truth is, being the anxious one in love doesn't mean you're broken. It means you feel deeply, you attach meaningfully, and you crave a level of emotional safety that many people don't even realize they need. But the journey for you is learning that love should not feel like a constant test you have to pass, or a fragile bond you have to hold together on your own. It's about slowly teaching your mind and your body that you are safe, even when there is uncertainty, even when someone else's behavior doesn't give you immediate reassurance. Because real love, the kind that heals rather than triggers, doesn't make you question your worth every day. It doesn't leave you guessing where you stand, and it doesn't require you to silence your needs to keep it alive. And when you begin to experience that kind of love, something inside you starts to soften, the urgency fades, the fear quiets, and for the first time, Love doesn't feel like anxiety, it feels like home.